The last line of today's gospel we can see in our first reading from the book of Numbers. The Israelites not thinking as God does, but thinking as human beings do, complaining about their time in the desert. Though it wasn't a true exile from Egypt back to the Holy Land, because they were returning to where they were supposed to be, unlike the Babylonian exile and the Assyrian exile, but they were still in some sort of exile. God was permitting the Israelites to be physically where their hearts were spiritually. They were in the desert. They were dried up. They were hardened. They were away from Him. They weren't with God. But when we hear the first line of the reading, the whole congregation, we realize that they were together, that it was a community that was together on a journey to where God wanted to bring them. And that is what we are as a Catholic community, as a Christian community, those who put our faith and our hope in Jesus. We are part of that church built on the rock, which is Peter, with the cornerstone, of course, we know as Jesus. Jesus' church, built on Peter, built on that succession of apostles down through today to Pope Francis. And we are that member, we are those members of that community that thinks as God does, that should think as God does. Today, our church offers us the beautiful memorial of the dedication of the Basilica of St. Mary Major in Rome, the oldest basilica in the Christian West dedicated to Our Lady, built soon after the declaration of Mary as Theotokos, the God-bearer. And we know that Mary always leads us to Jesus. Mary always leads us to her Son. And so we pray today through her intercession that she, in her prayers before her Son, would ask that He gather all of us into that community again, that those who are scattered would return home, that those who have never been part of the fold would come to know Jesus, that they would come to know Jesus, the one who satisfies every thirst of the human heart, of the human soul, that we would realize that we are a community that, though we may be in the desert in various parts of our life, whatever is going on in our own personal lives, we are still on a journey together towards that heavenly homeland that Jesus has prepared for us, that God the Father longs to share with us, and that Mary, our Blessed Mother, prays for us to attain just as she has attained.